It's not fair. Let's just say that it's not fair for us to have waited for 2 years and we still don't have an idea when that's going to end.
Kenya's former President Uhuru Kenyatta's spokesperson, Kanze Dena, has claimed that his office is facing intimidation and neglect. She stated that the government has failed to renew the contracts of 2 employees and has neglected the repair, maintenance, and fueling of vehicles. In a press briefing, Dena contradicted government claims by stating that Kenyatta has not been provided with a fully furnished and maintained office. The office in Nyari, acquired by the government for Kenyatta's use, remains unresolved regarding its furnishings and maintenance. Dena pointed out that former President Mwai Kibaki had selected the office in Nyari for himself, suggesting that Kenyatta should also be entitled to a suitable office.
Just to give an example of a few is the former Chief Justices, all former members of cabinet, commanders of defense forces, that is CDFs, including the then Deputy President. He also received a gratuity, and including myself as a former spokesperson of State House. It is true that the former President is receiving his personal monthly allowances that are paid by the pension fund that is domiciled at Treasury, and he also has the medical cover. Now, on the issue of the retired president enjoying a fully furnished and maintained office space, as alluded to in the statement, this took us by surprise. Because it is public knowledge that State House has been very clear on the position of the office in Nyari as the only office that the president should use based on the fact that the office has been bought by government. A position that was clearly articulated by the State House spokesperson, Hussein Mohammed, during a question and answer session when he was doing the press briefing of President Ruto's visit to the United States of America. So the statement that the former president enjoys a fully furnished and maintained office of his choice provided by government is incorrect. To date, the office matter has never been addressed and has never been resolved. But I'd, however, want to note, and I'd like you to note that the office in Nyari was selected by the late former President Mwai Kibaki, suitable for himself. Just a note that I'd like you to take. Then I would like to confirm also that the office confirms that the former president was indeed allocated vehicles for his personal use, and that is the 2 Toyota Land Cruisers, like stated in the statement, 1 Mercedes-Benz, and 1 Range Rover that is in use by the former First Lady, Mama Margaret Kenyatta. The 4 Toyota Prados that have been mentioned are in use as follows. 3 are used by the security detail that was given to the president, the former president, and 1 Toyota Prado that is being used by the office, as well as 1 Subaru Forester. Now, what the government spokesperson did not clarify is that the vehicles allocated to the former president for personal use were not new. They were in fact the cars that were part of his motorcade when he left Kasarani during the inauguration ceremony. And this was agreed upon by State House, that the former president uses these vehicles on transitional basis as they begin the process of procuring new vehicles as stipulated in the Presidential Benefits Act. That is 2 new vehicles of the retired president's choice, replaceable every 3 years, and each car having an engine capacity not exceeding 3,000 cc's. 2 four-wheel motor drive vehicles of the retired president's choice, also replaceable every 3 years. Each vehicle having an engine capacity of 3,000 to 4,000 cc's. Just a point of note as well. The late President Daniel Arap Moi and the late President Mwai Kibaki were allocated and maintained more than double the number of vehicles that have been allocated to the 3rd retired president to ensure optimum running of his office. And we would like to clarify that this is not what we would want to happen. This is not how we would want to engage, because we respect the rule of law. However, any matters arising, we do acknowledge that there are officers concerned, and we do hope that they will be able to pick it up and rest the issue. I conclude my statement, and now I'll take in questions. Yes, sir. Yes, Justice.
Is it true that the office of the fourth president of Kenya rejected a request for evaluation of this broker?
That is not true. You will see in your press pack that there's a letter that was written to State House asking for the valuation of this office, and there has been no response.
And is it also true that
how far when it comes to peacekeeping or DRC, the President was heavily involved in that process? And secondly, I will speak to the timing of this pressure and the strong nature of what is happening in the country right now. The spokesman did speak some time back. So this timing is speaking to whatever is happening in the country politically.
Okay, to your first question, I think the pressure today was about the office and the status. So on peacekeeping, we will address that much later. In terms of the timing, you did realize that he did the presser, I think, last week on Friday. It was not a long time ago. He did the presser last week on Friday. Last week, but one on Friday, I think. Last week, but one on Friday. What we needed to do and why we took time was we wanted to ensure that what we are bringing before you is the true position and with evidence. So that we are not just alluding to a statement, but we want you to have the evidence so that you may be able to understand the correct position of this office and what we stand for and what we believe in and what is true, which is want to make it public. And the reason why we've been able to respond is because they formally responded through the government spokesperson, and we felt that that was now the opportunity for us as the office of the third retired president to also make our formal response so that people get to understand that this is where we are at. So it has nothing to do with any political indication in the country right now. Yeah.
And just one last one from me. The conversation where we are
yes.
Right now,
yes.
Your house as office of former president actually does belong to the family of the president.
Yes.
At this point, you're asking the government to rent out, to sort of rent out property that belongs to you as government to pay. From where I see, you think that it's more correct.
Okay, there is something that I would want you to follow up. Maybe you can check in the public. There was a conversation that happened during His Excellency's tenure concerning also the other beneficiaries of the office of the retired president. And there is actually a conversation that happened between State House and the AG's office. I'm just not able to have those documents right now, but it alluded to the fact that being able to rent an office that belongs or is related to the family was not a conflict in interest issue. That issue was raised with one of the former retired or one of the beneficiaries. I'm just not able to name who it is right now, but it was concluded by the AG then that is not a conflict of interest, and that's why the former president made the decision to have the offices here. Yes. Yes. Yes.
My question is the reason why the statement is actually structured on the office of the retired president.
Yes.
Because it has to be anchored within the law, and that is the Retirement
Benefits Act. Yes.
Don't you think there are fewer terms and conditions that come to these benefits that perhaps the government feels have been flouted or are not being adhered to, especially touching on politics that could bring this complexity and gives them a good grey area not to do what you're asking them to do?
I know that one of the things that they talk about is his involvement in politics. And I think the correct position is that if you remember very clearly, immediately after inauguration, there was an NDC that was held by the Jubilee Party. And the process of that, the purpose of that NDC was to begin a process for him to be able to hand over chairmanship. But as we know, things went as they went, and the matter is currently in court. So, inevitably, he remains the chairman of Jubilee. Inevitably, because he's one of the Jubilee is one of the key parties of Azimio, he still remains in Jubilee. However, I think we can note anywhere that he has been inactive in terms of political activity. So I don't think that that should be a basis or a TOR that should necessitate the kind of treatment that the office of the retired third president is receiving.
And finally, the level of the former president and the level of the current president, the difference is former and current.
Yes.
Has there been attempts directly by the former president to speak to the current president with a view of certain of his administrative issues, but it's exclusively left to the office of the administrator?
I think there is nothing that has necessitated there to be a conversation, because everything it's a rule of law. It's how things need to happen. It's the operations that would require for them to have a conversation. Yes.
I just wanted to know how desperate is the situation? How desperate are you? Because 2 years ago, the salary...
Well, we thank God for his mercies, that's not where we are at right now. But actually, it's not fair let's just say that it's not fair for us to have waited for 2 years and we still don't have an idea when that's going to end. Naam.
Hivi msimamo wa ofisi ya rais wa nne wa taifa la Kenya gani? Hivi huenda tukamwona labda kama hayo. Hilo la kwanza. Kisha la pili, nitaomba utupe muhtasari katika lugha ya Kiswahili wapo chakuani mwishoni mwa kipindi hiki cha maswali na majibu.
Haya. Kuhusiana na swala hilo la siasa, nadhani ameshaweka wazi na umeona kwamba katika matendo yake kwamba hajajihusisha vyovyote vile na siasa. Watu kumtaja, wangependa kumtaja, kuna mapendekezo na hii mapendekezo tu yako humu ambayo hayana uhakika wowote. Kwa hivyo sidhani kama itakuwa ni sawa kuweza kumuunganisha na masuala haya, manake yeye mwenyewe hajasimama akaweza kuyataja kama mambo ambayo yanahusika nayo. Wamekuwa wanapigiwa simu usiku na wanaambiwa waende katika station tofauti kuliko ile ambao wameletwa hapa. Yaani wanapigwa transfer kupitia simu. Wapo. Lakini kwa sababu pia wao ni wa maafisa wa serikali, tungependa kuwalinda. Yes, Moshoki.
The former CJ, Justice Mathenge, the same thing the former President Uhuru Kenyatta was president. Is it fair to say this is the first time that is happening? Yet that happened in Ethiopia?
Sorry.
The former CJ.
Yes. Yes.
The complaint of the same, the former president.
But you see, the Chief Justice is not part of the Retired President's Benefit Act. He's a public servant. His matters are handled by judiciary. Right?
He was complaining of not getting what he deserved.
Yes. But
the story has been written and compiled by Joseph Mathenge. Please share, subscribe and like. In Kenya, contact us on +254 72 285 1902, and in London contact us on +44 793 19 13935.